So today I'm going to walk through our mid-semester review with you. So remember, when we're working through our review and our tests, we always want to have our evidence. We want to go from our CAR method. Remember that QAR. So we want to first make sure we're reading the question. What is the question asking? Give our answer, and then what is our reasoning? Okay, what is the evidence for our answer? So let's look at number one. So in number one, we have a retail store having a sale on sweaters, and the table below shows the original price. They want to know which equation represents the price of the sweaters if they are 25% off. Okay, so this is where it's important to read the question. So what do we know? So the table shows the original price. Okay, so we are looking, we know that it's the original price. And what they want to know is the equation which represents the price when the sweaters are 25% off. So they want to know the equation of the sale price. So the first thing that we're going to do is, well, we need to know what is the price of the sweater. Okay, what is the cost of the sweater? And we can use this, we can use our rule of proportions. Okay, so I know here that the original price is $24 because remember proportions to y over x over 3, which means the cost of the sweaters, they were $8 each. And then I can always just go and double check. Same here, y over x, 48 over 6, right? Y over x, that equals 8. Here, 56 over 7 equals 8. And last, 72 over 9, because that's my y over x, 72 over 9 equals 8. Okay, so I know that $8 is my original. Okay, want to know which equation represents the price of the sweater if they're 25% off. Well, this is a great thing. Go into Desmos. What is 8 times 25? Okay, that's 25%. Or you can even type in 8 times 25% into Desmos. Okay, so it means 25% means we had a savings of $2. So on sale, my $8 sweater is $2 off. So the sweater now only costs $6. Now let's look at our answer choices. Well, it's $6 per sweater. That word per is telling me slope. So out of our answer choices, F, G, H, and J, which equation shows a cost per sweater of $6? And that's J. Okay. Let's look at number 2. Same thing. We're going to use our QAR. Which of the following relations is not a function? Not a function. Okay, we're not looking for a function. Which one is not? So we are looking for the answer where my x value has more than one y value. Okay, so let's look at F, 1y. So looking at my f, I'm looking at an x of 3, of 7, of 4. Well, that's not it because every x only has one y. Looking at g, I have 0, 2, 3, 2. Oh, I have two ordered pairs that have a 2. We're an x, so now I'm going to look at this one. I have an x value of 2, y value of 5, x value of 2, y value of 7. Oh, different y values. So this one definitely is not a function. Don't stop. Look at the other answer choices just in case there is more than one. Okay, because it says which of the following relations. So there could be more than one answer. So looking at H. Okay, I have an x value of 1, 0, 4, 3. Well, none of my x values are duplicated, so I need to worry about my y. So I know H, not it. And then on J, 6, 2, 5, and 1. So my only answer choice here is G. My reasoning is the only one where an x value has more than one y value. Let's take a look at number 3. So what is the slope and y-intercept of the line shown below? So I'm looking for slope and y-intercept. Okay, the question wants to know slope and y-intercept. So let's first start with what I think is the easiest one. Let's identify our y-intercept. Remember, our y-intercept or our b value is where does that graph cross or touch that y-axis, and this is our y-axis. So if I go down here, where does it cross or touch? Well, right here at -5. So my b value is -5. Now, before I go any further, I'm just going to go and take a look at my answer choices. Well, A, I have a y-intercept of -5, okay. B, a y-intercept of 2.5, that's not it. C, a y-intercept of 2.5, we know C is not it. And D, a y-intercept of -0.5. So I have two answer choices left, A and D, which would be the only two that would satisfy the y-intercept portion. The next thing is I need to find my slope. So here I have my 2 points. Draw your slope triangle. Okay, remember slope is your change in y over your change of x. So my change in y, I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going up 6. And then I'm going over 1, 2, 3. I'm going over 3. Put this into Desmos, 6 over 3, which means I have a slope of 2. So I have a slope of 2, a y-intercept of -5, and D would be the only appropriate answer choice. Let's take a look at number 4. Okay, so here I'm giving a graph about football team attendance each week and which of the following best describes the association. So using your QAR. Okay, what do they want to find? The association. Well, first, what do we know about association? There are 3 types. It could be positive, right? Negative, or no association. So 3 types, okay? Positive, negative, or no association. Looking at my answer choices, well, I'm already going to get rid of answer choice F because nonlinear association isn't even one of the types. Do not choose that one. So now looking at my graph, remember, if it's a positive association, they're all trending kind of like in that up way. Negative, they would all be trending somewhat down. And then no association means they truly are scattered all over the place. Well, let's see, I have a point here, 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 here. Yeah, there does not appear to be any sort of association. So I'm going with J. Number 5, so we're looking at a graph of a walking group on a weekend walk, and which statement best represents the unit rate. Okay, so once again, my QAR, unit rate, so unit rate, slope, rate per 1. I am just brain dumping everything that I remember and I know about unit rate. Okay, so I need to find what best works. So let's look at our answer choices and we can work backwards. So on J, on F, the group walked 3 miles per hour. Well, first let me read my graph. I have miles over here and time. So 3 miles, which is here, per hour, which is here. Well, my graph touches, so that one makes sense. Okay. But let me check G. The group walked 9 miles. 9 over here per hour. Nope, not even close. It would mean my graph would have to go here. So my G does not make sense. For H, the group walked 1 mile. So here's 1 mile in 3 hours. That would be, my graph would be touching over here. It's not that one. And now the group distance increased by 1 mile every hour. Well, if that was the case, my graph would look something like in 1 mile every hour, it would be something like this. right? So we know J is not correct. My only answer choice is F. Let's take a look at number 6. So number 6, I have renting textbooks to college students. Let's take a look at what is my problem telling me. It charges $10 to set up the account. And which equation best represents A, the amount students will be charged to rent and textbooks? Well, what do I know? Let's see. It charges $10 to set up an account. And I want to know an equation to rent N books. Okay. So looking that A to set up, okay, initial, start, begin, $10, that is my y-intercept. Okay. So first, let's take a look at your answer choices. Okay. My y-intercept has to be something that says a plus 10. Well, here in F, well, no, that's 10n, so that's a slope, plus 49, that's not 10, so that doesn't work. G, that has a plus 10, okay, so that could be a y-intercept 10. H has a y-intercept 10, and J, nope, J has a y-intercept of 44, so that one would not work. So now what I'm left with 2 answer choices with one of 44n, one of 39n, and these are our unit rates, our slopes, if you will. So now just find the slope of your table. So I'm going to label my slope x1, y1, x2, y2. And now plug them in. So remember, slope formula is on your star chart. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I have 127 minus 88 over 3 minus 2, which leaves me with 39 over 1. So my slope is 39. Looking at G and H, only one answer choice has a slope of 39 and a y-intercept of 10, and that's H. Number 7. Oh, they're doing a lot of walking on this, huh? Cameron and Joseph are on a hiking trail, and based on the graph, how many hours will it take Joseph to catch up to Cameron? So let's take a look at some things that I already know, okay? We already know that Cameron got an early start and hiked 1 mile before Joseph. So this tells me this darker line, okay, that this darker line is Cameron, okay? I know that because it starts at 1, okay? This darker line is Cameron. And then, so this leaves me with Joseph. And they want to know how many hours it takes Joseph to catch up. So at what point are they at the same location? Well, where do these two graphs meet? It's right here. Okay. That is our, remember, solution to systems. Okay. So at mile 3, I guess 3 miles on the trail and here. So looking at Joseph, we know that Joseph is in the pink. Okay, find the, it took him, how long did it take him to catch up? Well, this is in 15 minutes. So at 90 minutes, he caught up to Cameron. Looking at my answer choices, I have 0.5 hours. Well, that's 30 minutes. That won't work. 1 hour, well, 60 minutes in an hour. Okay. 1.5 hours, well, 1 hour is 60 minutes. Half an hour is 30, so that one will work. And 3 hours, well, 3 times 60 is 180, so D is not the answer. Let's look at number 8, scatter plot. So how many gallons of gas should the gas station expect to sell when the temperature is 90 degrees Fahrenheit? Okay. Well, I'm going to work backwards. I'm going to plot my answer choices first. So for F at 9,000 gallons, so at 90 degrees Fahrenheit, I can expect 9,000 gallons. I'm going to plot my point right here. This is going to be my F. Okay. At G has 7,000, so I'm going to plot my point right here. This will be my G. Okay. H has 6,500, so that's going to be right about there. Let me use a different color, right about there. Okay. And then last I have my J, which is 8,000 here in the red. Okay. So I've plotted my points. You notice that they're relatively close to each other. Now I'm going to draw my trend line. So if I were to draw my trend line, remember the trend line, we want to do our best to split this data as evenly as possible. I'll draw my trend line right through here. I guess I should not have used the highlighter. So let me kind of take that off. And let's just do a solid yellow line. Okay, so now I'm going to draw my trend line. Remember our trend line, we want to split the data as best. And now, where does it go through? Well, it goes through closest to my red, which is my J, 8,000 gallons. Okay, and that is how I would do a problem on the scatter plot. Take your answer choices and work backwards. Okay. So looking at number 9, Chris wants to graph a line using the points from the table below. Wants to know what is the slope and y-intercept. Well, from a table, I'm going to just start by finding my slope. So I'm going to label my points x1, y1, x2, y2, and plug them into my slope formula, which is 5 minus 1 over 3 minus 1. So I have 4 over 2, and 4 over 2 reduces to 2. Okay. Well, let's look at my answer choices. There is only one answer choice that has a slope of positive 2, and that's G. But I also want to show you how you can test and make sure that your y-intercept is correct. Okay. So if I know my slope is 2, okay, that means I have a change of y of 2, a change of x of 1. Okay, so it means in my table, as y increases by 2, okay, my x increases by 1. And we can see that right here between my 6 and 7 points. Y increases by 2, x increases by 1. Well, if I can go forwards, I can also go backwards. And what I'll simply have to do is subtract. So if x decreases by 1, which means my x would be 0, and that's what we're looking for because a y-intercept has an x value of 0, okay? So if y decreases by 1, if x decreases by 1, my y value decreases by 2. So I would have my 1 minus 2. So I'd go back to 0, 2, it would be negative 1. So number 10, which of the following graphs represent proportional function? Okay, let's brain dump. What do we know about proportional from a graph? It's got to be linear, and it's got to go through the origin. Okay, remember the origin, 0.00, so it's got to go through the center. So A does not work because it does not go through the origin. B, well, it's close, but not really. It's just slightly off, so B would not work. Okay, C, well, C is not even close to the origin. And then D, well, goes right through the center, straight line, so D is our answer. Number 11, which mapping shown below represents a function? Well, this time we're looking for a function. So every x has 1y. Okay, that is what we're looking for. Well, let's see. Let's look at A. I have 1, 4. Oops, 7 has 2 lines going from it, so, or 2 arrows, so I'm going to look. So x of 7 has a y value of 8 and 10. A is not it. Okay, let's look at B. 1 arrow from 1, 4, 1, 1. Oh, this is viable. So we're just going to do this. C, let's check C. 1 up 4 has 2 arrows going from it, so we know that it's not C. And then I'm going to do the same with D, so I do want to check all my answer choices. 1, 4, up 7 again. It can be 10 or it can be 12, so it's not D. So the only answer choice to number 11 would be B. Let's look at number 12. So scatter plot again. How many visitors should the art museum expect in 4.5 months? This is another one that I would work from my answer choices and go backwards. So let's take a look at 4.5 months. So that's right up in here. Okay, 700 visitors. So 4.5 months, it would be about here. If I can get that point. Okay. And then at 750, so right in the middle there. Okay. Ooh, getting really picky. 775, right about here, right? And then we have, last but not least, we have 800. Which is here. Wow, this is very, very close. So this is a great resource just to plot your answer choice first and then work on drawing your trend line. So I'm going to draw my trend line and I want to split my data as evenly down the middle as possible. And when I do that, it looks like it comes closest to that 700. Okay. Let's look at number 13. So summer months, a kudzu vine, I don't even know what that is. I'll have to look that up. Can grow 11 inches per week. So which graph represents the rate of growth? So that word per is telling me slope. I'm looking for a graph with a slope of 11. So finding slope from a graph, choose 2 points. First, take a look at our graph. Make sure we're reading it correctly. I have week and I have length. So I'm looking for a slope that in 1 week grows 11. So my first, let's see, here's my slope triangle. Change in y over change in x. I have 22 is my change in y over my change of x, which is 1. Well, my slope would be 22. That's not it. Okay. Next, I'm going to do the same thing. Choose my 2 exact points. Okay, I'll just be different, go all the way up. I went up 22, and I went over 2. 22 divided by 2 to simplify, 11. Well, G will work. And let's just check H and J just to double check our answers. So here I start at 0, here, that's half of 22, which is, so it went up 11, but then it went over 2. And if I simplify 11 divided by 2, well, that's 5.5. So H is not it. And then last but not least, look at J. What type of line? What slope is that? That's a 0 slope. Remember, 0 fun. This is definitely not it. So the only answer choice that we have available to us on this one, 13, is G. Let's take a look at number 14. So what is the equation of a line that passes through the points -5, 8, and 11, 16? Don't panic. What can you find from 2 points? You can find slope. Looking at my answer choices, well, the great thing is all of my answer choices have different slopes. I have a slope of 2x here, a slope of 3/5, a slope of -1/2, and a slope of +1/2. So if I can find slope, I know the equation. So let's go ahead and find slope. I'm going to label my points x1, y1, x2, y2. And I'm plugging it into my slope formula. So I have 16, y2 minus y1, 16 minus 8 over 11 minus -5. And I'll plug this into Desmos. 16 minus 8 is 8. 11 minus -5 turns into a positive 16. And when I reduce this, 8 over 16 is 1/2. I only have one answer choice that has a slope of 1/2, and that is D. Didn't even have to find or worry about the y-intercept. And the last one, number 15. Which of the following tables include values that represent a proportional relationship? So using my QAR, the question wants to know proportional relationship. So remember, proportional relationship, we want the y over x to equal the y over x throughout the entire table. So let's start with F. So here I'll look at answer choice F, and here I'll have 2 and 0. Okay, so first I have my answer choice F. My y over x is 2 over 0. And then I'll choose the point next to it, 4 and 2. My y over x, 4 over 2. If I plug these into Desmos, well, 4 over 2 is 2, and 2 over 0 is undefined. They're not the same, so F is not proportional. Now I'm going to do the same thing with G. So I'm going to choose 2 of these points. I'll use these 2 here, okay? And then I'll write it y over x. So in my first point, y over x, I have 6 over 10. And then equals 1 over 5. So if I reduce 6 over 10, that reduces to 3 over 5. Well, 3 over 5 does not equal 1 over 5, so G is not it. Okay. In H, same thing. I'll have my 3 over 9. I'll use this first point here, the 3 over 9, and then I'll use 8 and 24. So let's set up our proportion. Our y over x, I'll have 9 over 3. Okay, and then for my 24 over 8, and when I reduce that, 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 24 divided by 8 is 3. Well, 3 equals 3. That looks good. Okay, let's just check these other two. If I set this up as y over x, I have 39 over 13. Put that into Desmos. Well, that equals 3. And then my last, I have 51 over 17. Put that into Desmos. That equals 3. So when I go across this table and I put y over x, they all equal 3. So H so far looks like a good answer. But I'm also just going to go ahead and check J. Want to check all my answers, so I'm going to use this point, and I'll use this point, and I'm going to do the same thing. I will use my y over x, so here I have 4 over 1 and 6 over 3, and when I simplify, 4 over 1 is simply 4, 6 over 3 is 2. Well, 4 does not equal 2, so J is not it.